From the EPAWA headquarters in South Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's time for Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The following segment is a weekly video blog, and the opinions of the forecaster do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff of Eastern PA Weather Authority LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrus with Weather Weeklies.
And good Sunday morning to you. It's April 26th, and we're now getting closer and closer to the time of year when we're expecting it to be consistently warmer. And we've had a little bit of a cold spell here, and of course this is something that we projected in our latest long range. So let's get into that. Start off with the long range projection. We had this done on the 15th. Now today is the 26th, of course. We expected this period from the 22nd to the 29th to be below average. And that is going to be the case, and I think it is going to end around the 29th. I think we get into above normal temperatures beginning on the 30th, near to slightly above average we had in this period here. The entire period as a whole that we outlined here is going to average near or slightly above, but there can be some times at the end of this range that's going to be quite warm. So I think it balances, starts off cooler around here, but when we actually start to balance a little bit and get to that well above normal temperatures as we get toward the later part of the period. And then we're still looking at May as a whole to be above average. Now you're looking at this, and if you watched the video last week, you're saying, well, this is the same thing I'm looking at last week. Why hasn't it been updated? Well, there's no reason to update it. There's no reason to update it when nothing has changed. Not a single thing has changed. And this is done back on the 15th, and this is why, when we do long range, we kind of project out as far as we can and we give specific dates. But if it hasn't changed and it's exactly the same as we projected, there's no reason to change anything. So this is still the same. Once we get to around the first week of May here, toward the before the 5th, we'll actually update it again and then extend it out for a couple more weeks and try to project those couple of weeks in terms of temperatures being above or below normal. We do expect May as a whole to be average above normal here. So we're going to get into the Madden-Julian oscillation now. This is we simply look at each week just to take a look at what we're looking at in the pipeline here. Now, a couple different models are in disagreement here. These, your warmer phases, that's the phases of there's 8 phases here for the Madden-Julian oscillation. This is a measure of your convection along the equator in relation to the international dateline and where it is along that. So that will affect your ridges and your troughs in the east that will allow for cold and warm weather. Your warm phases this time of year are right here in 5 and 6, and right now we're sitting here in the circle of death. What does the circle of death mean? Well, pretty much that the Madden-Julian oscillation has no effect on our pattern whatsoever. So every model does correctly depict that we're right here in the middle of this circle of death right here, right in the middle. So here's phase 1 here, 2, and then it keeps going all the way around to phase 8, which is right here. So it's one big circle. Okay, right now we're in the circle of death in the middle, which means it's not in any of these phases, and there's no effect on our weather. Now, I chose to use the Madden-Julian oscillation for the Canadian model today. The reason I'm doing that is because I think it has the best idea with this coming out of the circle of death and ending up in these warmer phases, because that's what we're seeing in the long ranges, that it's going to end up in the warmer phases. If you look at the GFS and I believe the European model, it's trying to take it into phase 8 and 1, kind of like this, and I really don't see that end up happening, at least not yet. I mean, we'll give an idea. We'll have a better idea as we get into a week from now, what we're going to be in. But you see phase 8 still, if it does end in a phase 8, is still a temperate near normal for this time of year. If it gets into phase 1, we get down to below normal temperatures. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I don't think it's going to have too much of a negative effect on our weather. It might just get us back to what near normal is expected to be for this time of year. We're still in the mid 60s, mid upper 60s is what's considered to be normal for this week coming up. So and then of course we look at May as a whole. We're still projecting this entire upcoming month of May to be well above normal temperatures, especially in the interior here. But and that's following a 1959 analog where we feel this year is analog wise is really going to favor. So I think we're going to have a very warm May. As we get into summer, June, July, August, we have a lot of questions about that too. I really think that we're going to end up near average. Maybe it's going to be warmer, we think warmer than last summer than it was, because it was very chilly last summer. If you remember, we had some periods, even in the end of July, we were talking about temperatures that were just struggling to get to 70. sometimes. So it was very cold, and a lot of that was due to the recurving typhoons in the Pacific. I think you're gonna have less of that this year, but so you will have temperatures that are near average, maybe slightly above. And we're going to have drier than normal conditions, it looks like. That's our early look at the projection for the summer, but that's June, July, August. I think May starts off very well above normal. So it might be going from, the colder temperatures to right into, late spring or early summer temperatures as we get into May here. Going into the short range anomalies, this is what we're looking at for Monday to start the week. These are indications of above or below normal, of departures from normal. So these temperatures here, this is indicating below normal. These are on this scale somewhere in this range here, somewhere between 5 and 10 degrees below normal. These are temperatures departures from what is considered to be normal. So this is still expected to be colder here on Monday. But as we get into of course, Monday is still within that range that is through the 29th that we talked about. As we get beyond that into Friday, okay, you get into Friday of this upcoming week, we're starting to come out of it now. You're seeing us getting into near normal temperatures. You can see that here, right around that 0 mark here. So near above nor below normal for this time of year. As you get to Friday, this is getting out the medium range a little bit. But then we can warm up in this weekend, and look what happens by Sunday. Very, very warm temperatures starting to build. Nice ridge building here in the east, and you're getting these warmer temperatures coming into the east here. So that's going to be beginning next Sunday and going into the following week, we think. So this is where we turn the corner. So we were looking at this long-range outlook here, and we're talking about this period below average to the 29th. This is where we turn the corner that we're showing you from the 30th to the 5th. And of course, by the time we get to the 4th and the 5th, you're talking about temperatures here. They're well above normal. These are upper 70s to near 80, maybe low 80s as we get, it's going out about 10 days now. So the models are starting to pick up on that we're going to have this warm up here. And this is something that we anticipated happening, again, right around this time frame here of the 30th to the 5th, where we start turning the corner. And I think once we get beyond that, we're going to really start getting into May temperatures that are expected for this time of year, if not warmer. And you're going to have these shots of warmer, well above normal temperatures at times. And that's going to be here, what's showing here in 10 days from now. So taking a look at precipitation now, not really a lot to speak of. We got the system coming in Monday. It's a mid-level trough. It's going to be hard to see here, but you have an area of low pressure here that's hanging out here by Nova Scotia, and you're going to have a kind of like one of these little mid-level trough that's going to rotate around this area of low pressure. So this is going to be pressing off to the south like this. So you're going to have a little bit of mostly cloudy skies, a few showers around. If you remember last Thursday, we had a day where people were reporting some snow flurries, snow showers, mixed rain and snow. We're not expecting the snow this time, but this is very, very similar in the sense that we have very dry conditions at the surface, so we won't have a lot of precipitation falling. You'll have a passing shower. It'll be mostly cloudy, more clouds than sun. Looking at the upper levels here, you can see this a lot clearer. Here's your trough axis right here. And here's your area low pressure that's sitting over Nova Scotia. This is just one of those trough axes that are rotating around that area low pressure. So as it does here, mid-level trough comes through in the afternoon and evening, and you can get those pop-up showers at any time. We'll call them more isolated, though, because it's very dry. Beyond that, really not a lot to speak of. We're going to be watching something late week, which is a possible nor'easter. But most models have this staying south right now. The GFS is the most aggressive north with this, and it has like a little kind of like an inverted trough stuck to it here, giving some precipitation back into our area here. That's on the GFS. Of course, this is still well offshore, kind of taking a path like this. Okay, and the European model is a little bit further south. It does start to curve it up here, but it's way out to sea at this point. So we are stuck high and dry. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. This will be the Thursday, Friday time frame if it were to happen. Right now, we're going to call it dry and maybe just kind of meet in the middle with the mostly cloudy, but it could end up being more sun than clouds. We'll just have to wait and see. But right now, it doesn't look like anything in the next 10 days really jumps out at us as, oh, wow, we need to really pay attention to this storm here. This one's still prog to stay south. Of course, we will keep an eye on it just in case. Just next thing we're looking for is this increase here in temperatures from the 30th to the 5th of May, and then I think beyond that we get into some really warm temperatures, and we start getting some early tastes of summer as we go through. through the month of May. Of course, you can follow all the threats we have. Our new theme and weather form is now a part of it as part of the premium package of the My Pocket Meteorologist program. You can join along in the discussion. We have everything we discuss from short range to mid range, long range. So there's a lot of different things we discuss within those threads. So if you're a weather enthusiast, would like to join along into the threat, including the severe season, which we're going to be getting into. We're just starting to come into that now. We had one severe type day that we had severe thunderstorm and tornado watches and up for parts of the area here, but we're going to start getting a little more active with that as we get along, especially as you get into May. May is when we turn the corner. You get these really warm shots of air. You could definitely get into some severe weather, especially if you have up and down temperatures with cold fronts coming through. You can really set off some severe weather, and that will most likely happen when it's warmer. And that looks like it's going to happen this month of May, so we should start turning the corner very shortly. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Marchich, and that is this week's edition of Weather Weeklies for April 26, 2015. Have a great Sunday.